There we go. Sorry about that. But anyway, let's get back to this topic. So I'm gonna ask anybody that comes in if you can hit the thumbs up. That's great. I see I got one person did that. That's nice. Um, we're gonna make some music, but we're gonna talk also while we do it. Um, so one of the things I notice is that I get this thumbs down on certain videos, and it's only like one or two people that do it. The Torso S4 was one of them. Anytime I just mention that thing in a video or put it in the title, I immediately get a thumbs down. And I'm like, what in the world is wrong with people? Like, do people really have that much hatred toward a device that they feel they got a thumbs down a video and probably never even watched the video, just smash the thumbs down? And that's fine because it all of it attracts attention anyway. But I just find it interesting. Or for instance, I make a song that's my own personal music. You don't have to like the song. I don't expect every song I make somebody to be like, that's the greatest song ever. But if you don't like it, just don't press the video. Or if you don't like my music, then don't click on the video. It doesn't make sense to sub someone or even be like when I really don't like something that somebody's doing, I don't necessarily have to comment on every video or put something negative in the air with regards to that. I think it's just weird. So we got some severe weirdos, and I mean that in a respectful way, but yet not so respectful. That there's some weirdos out there that just love to do anything to try to be negative. It's like, what is your life like? I don't even want to know. But that's what we got to deal with, unfortunately. For all you real ones that are constantly clicking on videos and thumbs up, even if you don't maybe like the subject matter, I appreciate you. And I'm sure everybody else that you do that for appreciates you too. It just helps contribute towards the good vibes, and that's a positive way to look at life and do things. So let's talk about making some music now, because I just wanted to talk about that crazy stuff at first. Probably not a lot of people heard it, but if you watch it on the rewind, then we'll know, or you'll know. I'm not sure what route I want to go this morning. I'm just gonna grab something and start messing around. I kind of feel like I want to do something with a guitar. So we're gonna grab this acoustic and see if there's something that I can come up with it. Hmm. And we may not stick with this. I'm just messing around. If something feels right, I'll roll with it. If not, I move on. So let's try an electric. We're gonna go with the White Falcon. Let's change the preset and go with something different. We'll go rhythm here. This is one of my favorite, the Blue Bossa preset. So one thing when I'm creating with guitar, and I've said this before, you have to think like guitar would be played to play it and make it sound decent. So when I'm playing a guitar, typically there's only about, I mean, there of course there's a strumming. We're not talking about that, but the finger, as far as how you use your fingers on it, most of the time you're using maybe five at the most, unless you're playing like arpeggiated notes. But if you're playing like a chord, so you can't, so when you play on the keyboard, you want to try to do the same. You want to stick to maybe using only five notes. So you see, I got a bass note, And this is actually only 4 notes that I'm using right now, but I'm spreading them across. So to you on the screen, it looks like that, but on the keyboard, I'm using a bass note and then I'm using those other notes to go with it. So let me see. This might be a little loud. Let me turn the master volume down. I think it'll benefit you more if I do that. All right, let's see. So I'm looking for the chord. I'm not using scalar. If I was using scalar, it'd be pretty quick to find something. So I'm just trying to play. Nope. Let's try a different guitar. Sometimes just the sound of a different guitar can. That one's really nice for blues, and this one's nice for our blues and jazz, and this one is nice for the same. But let's see if it's a little less distorted. So let's try this one. See what we come up with. What is Scalar? Scalar is a chord program to help you come up with chord ideas. For instance, you can use different moods. I have like user chords in here. So let's say I wanted to get some jazz, dark jazz chords. I can pick that. Here's a ton of chords up here, and then I can lock it. And then if I put this one right here to scalar 2 or 3 rather, so it's just quick way to get chords. It sounds, in my opinion, better with piano or like synths, but you can also do different things like different dynamic voice groupings, and you can make it strum and do it's a ton of ways to use it. Lately, my main thing I've been using is when I play something, if I don't know what scale I'm in, I'll drop the MIDI notes in here and have it detect it, and it'll tell me the scale. So that's one way to use it. So that's scalar. Spacewalk is more for ambient stuff, depending on what type of music you're making. But yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's a great tool. It's cool. It's good when you're kind of like stuck and you're doing songwriting. So let's say you have one chord and you like that chord you're playing, but you don't know what else will go with it. Scalar can kind of work with you that way. You can plug in that one chord and then get suggestions for other chords that might fit. So it's a songwriting tool, is what I would call it. Platinum. Thank you for that question. That's a good question. I appreciate. Yeah, yeah. Ample sound is the only thing. I mean, I play guitar, but obviously I can't own every guitar. I mean, I'm not rich, but you would have to have a lot of money to be owning all these guitars or collecting them across the years, and they're expensive. So these are high end, like a Gibson 335 guitar here with all the extra additives. And of course, you can go in here and change whether you want to do finger picking or actual pick, different effects. Like here's an echo that's on here. So you have all of that plus the MPE. The bit. Well, I'm using a Osmos, so MP is there. But if you use the modulation wheel, you can vibrate the string. Or in my case, I can just do it with the key. Or you can go in and write chords and do tablature stuff. Write chord sequences right here with the bends and everything. I just use it to play because I don't really want to do all that extra work it is to draw and stuff. That's too much for my little brain. Yeah, you're right. You would have to be a millionaire to be owning all those guitars. I mean, especially you try to go get a White Falcon or you try to get a like I said, a 335 or a really high end Strat. And by the time you get all that, keeping up with trying to maintain the strings, the temperatures, making sure they're in cases, then you want to pull them out. When do you have time to play that much? So, I mean, for me, I can just grab, I own what, five of them now, five of the different guitars. So I can just buy them. They're way cheaper for the cost of, they're usually around $100, anywhere from $100 to $150 each. So you figure if you own five of them, of course you get sales and stuff like that too. Catch them on sale, so it's pretty cheap. So let's play something, see what we come up with. I don't like press and record. Hold on. I prefer just playing, and then if I get a vibe, I'll just do what I call MIDI capture, right? All right, so oops. Oh, let's try this again. Eh, I'm messing up. I keep messing up. It's part of it. I like your music. I listen to. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, Paul. Okay, what's up, Paul? Good to see you, man. Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm usually doing cinematic ambient is my favorite thing these days, but I do mess around with other stuff too. It just depends on the vibe I'm feeling. It's got to be based on feeling for me though, because if I don't feel it, I won't make the best music. At least that's how I feel with regards to it. So let's just take that for right now. So you see, I just played it, click this button, and boom, there it is. I don't have to, and then we can look at the notes. I'm gonna minimize that. There's what I played. Let's just press it. Do do do. I was gonna go do do, and I messed that up. Doo, mm, mm. So let's see. Let's get rid of this note. So you can see here what I played, and then it tells you the tempo is 79.50. Yeah, man. Messing up is part of the process, Mess up all the time. But I don't mind a little mistake here and there. Um when you're creating, especially if you don't have anything like ironed out, you're just trying to figure it all out. It's kind of the workflow for me is you're just gonna have to embrace those mistakes. 1 second. Apologize for that long hold. I had a business phone call I had to take. So unfortunately that has to take precedent as it does pay the bills. Speaking of. All right, so back to this. So I played something, but I felt like the timing might be a little off. So we're gonna adjust accordingly. I'm gonna set this to I'm actually gonna set it to like 84 and see if that'll work. It's a little slow, but that could be because some of the notes are off, which I think they are, like this for sure. So I'm gonna do some note adjustments here for the sake of time. We'll just do that and see where that takes us. Eesh, not good. And I'm probably gonna end up playing this over, is what I'm thinking. But let's just try this. See, I feel like this needs to come in quicker. So what I'm gonna do to make this work is I'm gonna just increase the BPM and see if that can get me the timing. So I feel like this needs to happen before that to make it work. So let's increase the timing a little bit more. See if that helps. Nope, it's not helping. So we're gonna decrease the time and I'm just gonna play it again. At least we kind of know where we want to be on timing. I think the original was 70, what was it, 79.5 or something. So we're gonna get around the 82 BPM, and I'm just gonna replay this. It's not a big deal. This time we'll play with a metronome since we kind of know where we're at time wise. And let me get going here. All right. Um, what are you trying to do? What's up, Alaskan Bull? I've never spoke with you before. I am literally just playing, making some music. So that's what we're doing. I had to take a phone call break, so now I'm back, and we're gonna play this over again. So initially, when I'm playing, I'm using for those that maybe just walked in or just started watching. We're using a 335 from Ample Sound Guitar. So usually, when I'm building music, I'm just playing what comes to mind, right? I'm not. There's no strategic plan here, and that's kind of what we're doing. So I am going to play these chords. So let me pull up one more thing for you guys. This is more for your benefit to see what I'm doing and playing. So we're going to put a keyboard in here. We'll stretch it out to 49, drop this down to 1. There you go. Now you can at least see. So I'm going, oops. All right. Trying to figure out that what I want to play there. All right, so here we go. Let's make it happen. This is too slow. For what's in my mind, at least, it's too slow. So we're going to increase this. Okay, there we go. So let's go 100. That'll work. I just did a tap tempo to see what I want to get at. I'm just messing around until I find it. There's a black square blocking the MIDI monitor. Okay, let's see what that may be. Oh, let me go live. What is that black square? There's nothing open, so I'm not sure. That must be something with. Let me see if I can find it for you. What it is? Ah, there we go. Found it. Something on Ecamm Live. I'm on Ecamm Live when I'm recording here, so that's probably what it is. So now the black square should be gone. Thank you for pointing that out, Alaskan Bull. Interesting name. I usually like when I see interesting names, I usually want to know the story. So if you want to put where you came up with that idea, that'd be pretty cool. What's up, Crazy Rabbit? Sort of got there. I'm not 100% sold on that ending portion, but that's fine. It's a start. Let me fix this one note here that's a little off. There we go. That way I can crop it, see where we are. So now we're able to play the 4 bars at least. So you can see. So the initial is to find what the tempo is going to be. You could tap it in, or you could play something and get it, or get close to the ideal where you want to be. But then you got to come up with something. So here we go. Okay, I want to shorten this note here. Doom, doom, doom. I feel like it should be another bass note there. We're gonna loop it. I'm gonna turn this metronome off for a second. I don't care for that last part. Let's see if we can fix that last part. Like a walking bass line. All right, let's change that last part. J consolidates it, and we're going to move it to that bass line. So this. We're just going to do like a walking bass line coming up. So this note here needs to come down. Maybe let's try moving this. Could play this over too. That's an option. And then bring that note down to this same note. Do, 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 Oh, I like that a little bit better. All right, so let's go move that over. Put that note in. All right, so we're doing this note changing around here just for the runaround. Maybe here. I'm going to record this last part again just because I kind of don't like where it's hitting. So we're going to record it again. Just that part. All right, so watch this. I just played it. I'm gonna hit this, and then I'm gonna pick the best take that I just did, which I think is gonna be this last part here. And we're gonna see if we can make that fit. Doo, doo, doo. It's a little slower on this take, so I'm gonna have to adjust that, but it was fine. Doo, 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 doo. So we need this to. Got an idea. Let's shorten this note, put it over there. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna play it again. Play it over here with the metronome to get the timing right. Oops. Cool. All right, Alaskan Bull is from SpongeBob. Oh, okay. I used to watch it long ago, but I can't remember. It's been a long time. Yeah, walking baseline to turn around or diminish chord would be hard. Yeah, that's true. Didn't even think about a diminished chord. Where am I from, or where do I live? I'm in California. If you're wondering where I'm living, originally I'm from the south of like the dirty south, like Mississippi, that area. But yeah, United States, etc. For those that aren't in the United States. I like the first take. So I'm just picking a take that I think I like, which is this one. Do, 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 do. But it's still not enough because I need to shorten it a little bit. So we need to figure this out. Let's see, do, do, without losing what we have. Okay, I added an extra note. These notes don't need to be here. Cool. I think I figured it out. Something simple like that. There we go. Oops. I meant to go Command J. There we go. So now we put our loop together. Command L will put the loop back over it, and we can listen to it and build on it. Now, this is one part. I obviously would prefer to have multiple parts here. I don't want to do this through the whole song. It'll get boring. But I think this would be a cool part. So we might build something for an intro. Let's do it over here. Let me come up with something that I can play for a little intro, because we don't need all chords. But let's say I want to figure out what the scale is, because I kind of do. I'm going to use scalar for that purpose. You should be able to, used to be able to drop it in, but I think for some reason let's go here. Let's just go MIDI detect. So MIDI detect will allow me to play it in. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to play some notes and see if we can come up with. I just want to play the notes. All right, cool. So let's go here. So what is it detecting? D sharp minor, E flat minor. Okay. That'll work. Turn that capture off because I don't need it. And I'm not using scalar for anything but that. There is a detect version they've came out with. I do have it, but I took it off because you can use this to detect too. There's no point in worrying about it. All right, so we have our notes, kind of know what our scale is, which I like to make sure that's locked in. I'm not worried about addictive drums. I'm not going to use it. Trillion will leave here just because it's the bass that I tend to use. All right, cool. Yeah, so the Yamaha is something that I'm leaning towards going with because it has the dual um USB input. So you have basically a 2 track on the sub, which is nice for a simple recording in with the iPad. That'll work just fine. Or let's say I want to record to the iPad, that should work just fine. And then the routing, the DSP on board for the cost of, like, if I bought a Scarlett 18i20, which is nice, you get more inputs. It's about the same cost, and you don't get any DSP with that. You have to deal with um, the internal software that only works on the desktop. And the fact that it has a recorder built into it with 16 track recorder where you can actually, plus you get the aux on the front, all the headphone inputs, and I got at least four XLR and four quarter-inch outs. I don't know. It just sounds like a good thing to me. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely, if I get it, I'm definitely gonna let you know for sure. Sounds like B flat major. So what is the relative of B flat major? Let's go in here and look, because it could be B flat major, but when it detects, it's gonna pick up on whatever notes you're playing. So let's set this to B flat major. Oops. We'll type major in. Why did it do major? There we go. B flat major. So let's get my little scale out, which is not on the screen. So I have to grab my phone. We're going to pull up tonality because it's much easier to look at the scales here. So we're going to go B flat. So B flat major is G minor, same thing as G minor. But let's play the notes that I actually played. So you can see this on screen. So we'll do this again just for fun. MIDI detect. All right, I'm going to play the notes that I'm actually playing on the keyboard, and we'll see what it gives me. So we start there. We do. Okay. Hold on, let me get rid of this. So MIDI detect. It's recording. Now it's saying this, which is like D sharp, E flat. That's crazy. And it may be some mixtures of something in here. Let me try. I probably played some notes that are out of scale for sure. But if you look down here, these are the relative ones that are close to it that match. So if you look at what matches the chord scale, of course it's Persian or something like that. I'm looking to see, and everything is pointing to this or this major. At least that's closer, right? Anything 5 of 5 on the note match is going to be obviously better. So this is closer to what it is. But if we go down a little bit past it, the next one that's closest is the D sharp, E flat minor scale, or this major scale here. Then after that, it could be an A sharp, B flat minor, is what you said, right? You said it sounds like B flat major. So yeah, there is a B flat in that exists in this note. But if you look here, it's either C sharp, D flat major, or it's B flat minor. So the only reason I took this one is because it's the recommended one that they say, 4 out of 5. So either way, it could go with one of those. It does show a B major scale. There's a harmonic major. So all of these 4 out of 5 note matching here, or even chord matching, come close. But I just took the one that is up there. So yeah, closest one I could find to it. Unless I want to go with some scale that I don't know what that is, like Lydian number 2, number 6 scale, and then it gets to be kind of like confusing, I think. So yeah, though I mean, it probably houses some of the same notes as what you're saying. So you're not wrong. It just could be the other. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say you're wrong. I would just say, with sound, because we're all using the same notes, it could be in any of those, right? But this is the one that's showing closest to, so I just kind of roll with it. But yeah, what in the world is that? Why is it doing that? That was a bit weird. Did it switch out my instrument? What in the world? That is so weird. What is that? Hold on, let me take scalar out and see if that's causing any troubles. Must be something scalar was doing. All right, cool. So just messing around. Let's keep it going. We're gonna add another one in, a duplicate of the same thing. And the purpose of this is to have a lead, but I'm going to add in a UAD guitar amp. So I like this one. This is the UAD Showtime 64, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And I usually turn the speed and intensity off. Oops, let's go here. But if I want a lead, I could touch here and go find a nice lead. R&B classic. Or I could go find a lead right there. So that's the only one they put as a lead. Interesting. Jazz. Turn off lead, turn off R&B. Okay, there we go. I have to turn those off. Nope. Let's go find a lead. There we go. Overdrive. Bluesy room. I'm probably going to switch guitars is what I'm going to do, because I don't like this guitar for the lead. I'm going to use it for the rhythm. But let's switch guitars. We'll change out and see if that helps. We'll get rid of the UAD. Although I do like the regular version of it in there. It's pretty nice. Actually, you know what? Let's put that on this one. There we go. Just the standard version of it. And on the second one, we're going to switch the guitar to the White Falcon. And we'll switch this over to the Blue Bossa one. And that's the one I want to use for the lead. All right, cool. And then let's go grab the amp again. We'll use the same amp. Turn the speed and intensity off, even though it's technically not on anyway, but I think we could live without that. Yeah, let's go without it. All right. We're going to go without it and just rock with the guitar without it. Just trying to find the sound that fits, right? Hey, what's up, Lift the Noise? Good to see you, man. Yes, I played the guitar on the keyboard. So here you can see the notes. I use the Osmos, but the only difference with the Osmos is you see this MPE right here? Has nothing to do with whether the sound, I mean, I can bend notes. But you can do it with the modulation wheel and the pitch bend. Little vibrato on the strings. So without that, with the Osmos, you get all the MPE notes down here. So anytime I vibrate a note, it's going to vibrate on the record that part too. But yeah, this is all played on the keyboard. I feel like this guitar needs a little more push. I mean, I could go clean, I guess, but if I'm gonna do, so we're gonna go. You hear that slide off the fingertips? Watch. It's like my fingers are sliding on the actual. Now, one way to distinguish and make it sound more electric is instead of using the finger, which is going to be warmer, you use a pick. Like if you want the note to push through a little bit more. So. But you lose the warmth because that's what with picking on electric strings is going to do. So if you do use your fingers, which is what I'm using here is the finger option right there, pause. You you can get, that jazzy warmth sound. Come on now, get off the screen. So then I can play a little lead over it. Double action, you guys know what that is. If you don't, double stop where you play two notes. Guitar. So you need to understand some guitar. You can get away with not, but it kind of helps when you understand some guitar. So obviously I just locked the scale so you guys can see it, but all right. Let's make this okay. So I'm gonna start moving this around. So I'm gonna duplicate it 4 times. Purpose here is to give me some room to play. So all I'm gonna do is just play and then I'll capture the MIDI after I play. Cool. Now I'm gonna hit MIDI capture, and there's everything I played right there. So there it is. And I'm gonna change this color just because it's driving me crazy to see it. Oops, it needs to be like Prince purple, right? Let's go. And then I'm gonna change this one to, I don't know, I'm just gonna change it brown for right now. I'm gonna highlight all of them and then change all these colors to that. There we go. Just so you can see the difference in what's what. So there's a little simple solo. See the MP? What's up, Ali Star? Good to see you, man. Yeah, the Osmos man is impressively. I mean, and I'm not even. I have my pitch bend on the Osmos set to like 1/48th. If I set it to the sensitivity up to like 1, I can really bend the notes even more so out of tune. But I like it to sound natural, so I leave it around 148, what I feel is natural. And of course, on synthesizers, it's going to work a little different. We're playing on this ample sound guitar, so you can see what it's doing. Now, if you had a push 3, you could do it on a push 3 with the pads. Or if you have the MPC, what is it, the Live 3, I think might have the MPE stuff in there. You could be playing on those pads and bending notes. But if you have a keyboard, it works better, in my opinion. So, and you don't have to have the pitch bend on the keyboard even. So, see, I'm using the pitch wheel here. You can see that right here. But you can get the vibrato using the mod. And then you just execute your playing and this works, right? So if you want to, so I'm just playing that with my hands. That's it. Just play and hit your MIDI capture, and boom, you got your notes on the screen. If you make any mistakes, you want to adjust it, go in and adjust it. Most of the time I don't, unless it's really something that's off or I hit an extra note I don't want. That's how it works. Play some with the wobble. You talking about what the so if the device does not have MPE, then you have to enable MPE in here. So that's, let me turn the sensitivity up for you. There you go. It gets crazier the higher you go up, but when you're in the controller mode, you only have to one. I'm hoping that's something they maybe update in the future where you have more, because when you're in the keyboard and use the internals of the Osmos, you can turn it up even further and go crazy. But I like to stay around 48, 148, slightly bending. But if I want to be risky a little bit, I might push it to like 1/4. And what I'd like to do is use the pitch wheel, like here, to get further bends. But in guitar, you know that if you bend too far, you bend way out of tune, it doesn't sound good. So you have to know when you're playing it, you're feeling like how far up is one note, a semitone, or versus a, you know, going too far up and doing something way out of pocket. So some slight vibrato of the strings. Depending on what you're playing, right? So here we go. Side action. What do you say? Side action chords. You want to hear me pitch bend chords? Here. Oh. I mean, it sounds stupid in my opinion, but to be pitch bending a whole chord like that, maybe not with a synth, but with this guitar, it sounds weird. So I'm actually bending the note. If you watch this little pitch bend down here, but it's so small to where if I do like, let me turn on the MPE on this one. I think I have it on the other one, but yeah, I mean, you can put this on anything that has MPE. So if you go with, let's go to, I do it on strings probably more than anything. So let's just pull a violin out. This is Expressive Ease violin. So it's set to auto vibrate, but you can turn it. Slide guitar has to be a special guitar, though. This isn't a slide guitar. That's the thing, it's not. Like you would have to have a guitar with slide, because this is, or a slide, what do they call that thing? Effect. This is just a standard guitar, Falcon guitar. So you're what you're wanting is like, yeah, if you get a slide steel guitar, some steel string guitar that has the ability to slide, you can slide on here, but you know, like using this feature here. Hold on. Let me find the note here to do it. But you have to hold the note while you're doing it if you're going to try to do that. But that's not the same thing as what you're talking about. You're talking about when you put like a bottle on this thing, glass, and slide and do real slide guitar. Yeah, you would have to have the right guitar. This one doesn't have a slide like that. I think that's what you're talking about. Okay, what did I do here? Yeah, you're thinking slide guitar. So if there was a bottle like option here, then you could slide that up and down the guitar. Versus this is more like sliding a note, which you can do that. So yeah, it's a little different. So if you go to Ample Sound, here, let's do this. Ample Sound. You see this? Oh, let me pull it up. This slide lap steel will do it because it's meant to be that way, like the David Gilmour's type stuff. So you could go that route, or you would have to get something with, I don't think any of these have a bottle or a metal thing to slide like that. There is sliding notes, but I don't think the other portion is with it. I'll bring that up and mention it to them. Sometimes I'll reach out to them and, hey, will you guys add a feature where you have a slide on any of these guitars? Because then you could do it. But yeah. So anyway, that's Ample Sound. It's pretty cool. Let's get back to the music. All right. Let's find some drums. Since I don't feel like drumming, which I don't, I'm just gonna draw in some notes for drums. Of course, you can drum if you want to. We'll create a MIDI. Let's do that. Click here. Why is this not? This is off. I'm just gonna. I am so not wanting to drum today so badly. I know some of you guys are drum first people, and I'm total opposite. Excuse my mouse for acting a fool today. I don't know what's going on with this thing. All right, I'm gonna fix this. Why is it having moments here? I don't understand, but thank you. So I'm just plugging in these. I'm gonna select them all, and I'm gonna randomize the velocities just a little bit. And then I'm gonna do deviation. So that means it won't play the same exactly every time it hits. Really simple to do if you're just drawing in notes. I'm gonna put a kick on the 1. Oops, that's not the 1. Go back to the beginning so you guys can see it. Put a kick on the 1. And then I'm just gonna duplicate it. It'll throw it all the way across on the 1. Pretty simple. We can play the ghost kicks in if we want. I'm gonna leave all these initial kicks where they're at. I'll throw the ghost kicks in a minute. All right, let's play. All right, we're gonna play in that part. Cool. MIDI capture is there. So see how fast, and I didn't even press record. I just literally did that. We can get rid of this. We'll just do 8 bars and then duplicate it. Make it easy. Command J. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Now we're gonna go Command J. Cool. Then I'm gonna just Command D to duplicate that, and now we have our 2 bars. Since I didn't play these, and I kind of want to nudge them, I'm just going to turn off the snap to grid, and then I'm going to nudge them just a slight bit to the left. There we go. Just that simple. I'm adding just a crash at the beginning of the 1. reason I lost my chat. So 1 second. Oh boy, the iPad is something else. Come on, iPad. Where is my chat? It's for some reason it's removed my chat. It's crazy. Yeah, this is weird. I'm gonna try it again, see if I can figure out why it disappeared. Where is my chat? Okay. I tell you what, man, iOS 26 has got getting on my last nerves, primarily on iOS. Well, I said iOS. So yeah, iOS 26. Oh, it's driving me crazy. Yeah, I have looked up what's up, DJ Emo. Yes, Army interfaces are top notch, no question. Just a little bit more than what I want to spend though on an interface personally. If I was recording like guitars live and bass and doing all that stuff live, I'd probably be interested in one of them. But yeah, I need. And then the other thing is like the one, the baby face or whatever is, um, it doesn't have enough inputs for me. So I personally want to have more inputs, quarter inch inputs. Plus, you can only run one device on it. Whereas with like the Yamaha interface, you could have your iPhone or your iPad plugged in, plus have your computer and send sounds back and forth pretty freely. So that's the turn off for me of using the RME stuff. It doesn't isn't that it doesn't sound good. It sounds incredible. But for $1,000, I'm kind of expecting a little bit more from an interface personally. And I think that's just way above pay my grade of wanting, right? When I only have two keyboards that are hardware that I plug in. So yeah. Let's record the bass or not. So we're gonna use Trillion for bass. I'm gonna pull it down here. This is just a muted jazz bass, Petrucci R&B. This is my primary go-to. If I want an upright bass, I use Trillion, whatever, synth bass, etc. With a little bit of bass fattener and a little punch and parallel compression on it, kind of gives you that sound. Yeah, he does, but he doesn't. I don't think he's done one on the latest versions. I do watch Julian. I unless he just released it. These are brand new interfaces that just came out. I've watched almost every video he drops, and everything he talks about is great. But you gotta take what he's saying with a grain of salt because it depends on your use case. Like if I'm not recording vocals, then I don't really care about half that stuff with the preamps because it doesn't affect anything when you just plug a line in. Most of the stuff I'm doing is going to be like record a keyboard in with a line in. You don't really need a ton of stuff. I really think the Yamaha might be a bit overkill, but one of the benefits of having it is the dual USB. And that's hard to beat because I tried the one for Arturia and it was trash. Those interfaces are just, they're so cheap and not good. So I'm hoping that the Yamaha one is a little bit better quality wise as well as just overall usage. Plus, I mean, you can't beat the idea of being able to throw a SD card in, a micro SD, and record straight to the SD card. It's kind of a nice feature. But we have to see if it's $500 worthy, or should you just get a Scarlett Focusrite and be done with it, you know? So anyway, let's record this bass. I think I figured out what I want to play. Keeping it simple, just following the chords. Sorry, my phone's ringing. 1 second, I gotta turn this off. You know, on the days I try to record, it's funny how everybody wants to call you at the same time. I guess that's everybody's life these days. But anyway, I'm not going to play this more than once because I was going to do 16, but when I got interrupted, it kind of messed me up. Um, so the way to fix that, if you get to where you don't want to play a lot, it's not where I want to play a lot, but I just didn't. It's just join them together, right? And then just select them all the notes in that particular one, and then do a little deviation. And that's going to deviate the note of whether it's played up or down. Now you could individually deviate certain parts. Like if you want this section to kind of play up and less down, you could do that. In other words, I could highlight this. This is actually bad because I would never play two notes like this simultaneously. So we're going to get rid of this A. Yeah, get rid of that. That shouldn't be there. Not on a bass, at least. I wouldn't be doing double stop type stuff on a bass. This one looks good. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. So anyway, yeah, same principle. Highlight the parts you might, like let's say I want this to be, definitely want this section to be lower. Maybe if there's a couple notes you want to be higher, you highlight them and just move the deviation up. And that's pretty good. Like this note here, I'd probably do a positive deviation of it because it's so low already. Same thing here. Or you could sit and manually adjust it too. But the reason why deviation is important is that it doesn't play the same way all the way through and through. It's going to change so that it sounds more realistic. It's so subtle though. Let's go grab some more instruments. still haven't unfortunately fixed the Swam instruments to where it works with the Osmos, which is kind of dumb in my opinion. And I've been putting it out there to them and throwing it out there 100 times a day. I mean, I'm just tired of preaching to them. Fix this so that it works. You have the instrument, you got the jam stick. You even went as far as getting the Touche, which is made by the same company, and you couldn't put the Osmos? You put the Seaboard, but not the Osmos? What? Anyway, just a gripe I have. We got to go back in and fix that now because I'm trying to use one of these default settings that technically doesn't work with this. Um, yeah, it's just annoying. I mean, there's the default one there that you can use. But see, it's not, it should be slower. Anyway, just a little gripe I have. Um, yeah, I've owned the Moto 2 and the 4. Um, Scarlet, you're using the Scarlet second gen. Nice. Yeah, I agree. I think I had a four, it was a four input Scarlet one, and I didn't care for it. The fourth generation, I didn't like it. Um, Another thing is I tried a bunch of different interfaces, didn't keep them because the gain, the input gain, or I think it was the input gain, was like 50 something. And that's really low, especially with the Osmos, because the Osmos output is kind of low. When you turn it up, you have to turn the master all the way up. So I need something with more gain, which is what it's basically what the one I'm looking at, the Yamaha is 78, which is crazy. Reminds me of like the old Apogee Duet that I used to have that was really good. Had a pretty high gain input. Scarlet 2i2. No, I appreciate your thoughts, DJ Emo. Yeah, so like 300. Yeah, those are nice. Again, the reason why I'm looking at the other one is primarily because it has two USB-C, it has dual USB-C. That to me is huge because I don't want to have to switch back and forth if I want to use the iPad. So if I'm on Koala, I want to just be able to stay on Koala and rock with it, you know? Or if I want to plug my iPhone in and just get a quick sample and I just want to throw something like that, that's pretty easy to do too. So, man, this stupid um iOS, not iOS. Yeah, iOS is crazy. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, techno, dance, all of that, all music is music, man. In the end, it's all notes and what combination you put together, drums. I, when I was younger, I was into dance music more. As I've gotten older, I've grown more fond of jazz and ambient, just mellow stuff. Because music for me is more relaxation than it is about aggressive. And so that's just where I'm at. But when I was younger, I listened to rap, I listened to R&B, soul, jazz, hip hop, any of that stuff. Now I've just kind of toned it down a ton. And when it comes to making music, I need I need to feel it or I can't do it. If that makes sense. I mean, I can make some music. I can sit there and make a four to the floor and do all that, but I don't feel that music. So I don't really like have the fondness of somebody who really listens to it and they're into transitions and yeah, just I'm not there. But I don't not like it. I just don't make it. So how you work makes you want to work for sure. Oh yeah, they are. The Swamp stuff is nuts. But I'm also got to put some reverb on that because there is reverb built into it. But I personally like Valhalla, so that's where I aim to go get some Valhalla, which is up here. And you can use like I use the room reverb, and then I have a preset I made, BJ SB Woodwinds, and then I use that. So let's go back. And then if I want to put and then I might add in a little bit of saturation with the color limiter, which I'll put it over here and just turn the saturation up. Then bring the volume down a little bit. Maybe not that low. Put it like 9 and then adjust where you want the trumpet to blow in the room. So I'm just going to put it in the center. It's fine. You can also adjust everything else in here too, but whatever. I'm going to take the expression off, though the expression tends to make this sound better, in my opinion. For years, I didn't even use it because I didn't fully understand it. So I am going to, and you can, by the way, set that to keyboard mod wheel and aftertouch. So I'm going to try that out and hit save. So see the vibrato goes off on the aftertouch. So this is probably a cool setting if you have a regular keyboard, not the Osmos. Your mod wheel becomes the expression. Which you can do this, you don't have to use their settings to do this at all. Reset. Still pulling. Let's go back to the default here. Keyboard default. Okay. Pull this back here. And then you could map this yourself. So let's say you want the expression to be the mod. Because in the normal default, it's going to be the vibrato. All you have to do is click here. Oops, I clicked the wrong button, I think. Oh, no, not that one. This one over here. This MIDI. And any of these that populate here can be whatever you want on a controller, right? So let's say I want the expression to be this little mod wheel. So now the expression can control the mod and the vibrato. Or not. I mean, depending on what you want. So let's go back to this. Click here and just unassign it. So I put that. I'm going to put a little more in the mix. Or you can turn this off. could see like some outcasts going over this. Dun, 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 right? That vibe. Yeah, man, that's the way to do it. Just enjoy whatever you enjoy and just have fun. As long as you're having fun when you're making it. For a while, it was me. It was R&B. Didn't touch anything else. It was just that. Then I went from that to kind of like messing with the hip hop stuff. Then I was like, I don't really want to do hip hop. Kind of want to do jazz. So I started messing with jazz. Then went from that to ambient and cinematic. Now I kind of do a combination of ambient, cinematic, and jazz. Oh, you think Amy Winehouse? Yeah, yeah, Amy could jump on this. I think she'd be cool. There's so many ways, you know. I do like Amy Winehouse. I like Adele. Adele's pretty cool, but Amy's got that jazz for sure. That's her. That's her for a fact. You could also do for fun. We'll do this. We'll go duplicate, and then we will on this particular one. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. And you see how you can see the other instrument overlapping? So there's trumpet one, and here's the second one. Watch this. I'm going to put this trumpet out to this way so that they're sitting in different parts of the room. So something like that. And then let's just hit command. And now we got both of them going at the same time. That one there, maybe this one here. Or you could switch. We could switch and do, I think I have, let's go up here. I do have, let me see if I can, let's put a tenor sax on this one, second one. So now we have the tenor. Put that over there. Cool. So let's just make sure they're separate. We'll turn the, so we're not getting any volume on this one. It's weird. Oh, maybe because I'm out of range. Weird. It's having a moment. Phasing issues. Let's get rid of this one. I do want to duplicate this. So let's go grab the trumpet again. Okay, cool. Turn it down. All right, cool. And then I'm gonna put the color limiter over here, which is basically just some saturation. And then copy this one over too. So we have the hold command and hit this button so they're both armed. So let's turn down. Let's turn down. That should be good there. Let's go to this one. Turn this one down. Ba-do-ba-do, boom, pop, boom. So you could put some marching drums in there. Do-do-do. Anyway, you get the point. You can stack these instruments too. Or just play them individually if that's what you prefer. Something interesting though with them stacked. So I don't know. It just gives me that I don't know if it's like big band or whatever type vibe. But all right, then we'll go there. And pull these over here. You should be able to pull back and capture that MIDI. Same thing there. So it's basically the same MIDI. And if you want, what a trick to this is too, to give it some variation, is instead of because we played it obviously at the same time, you can go in and change a little bit of deviation. You could put a little randomization, change up the notes the way they so that they blow a little different. That makes sense. So I did it there. I pushed random on the 27. Keep it real subtle though, because it'll get all out of pocket. Then it'll be weird. So you can see that versus like if let me see if I can. I was trying to undo the randomization so that you could hear it identical. So then what I would do is add a little bit of that drum enhancer, transient shaper, reverb to the drums. Thank you, Bears DJ. Appreciate you. Thank you, Crazy Rabbit. Appreciate you. Ali Star. DJ Emo. We could throw a clap over that too. So we could go in and just get a clap sample. Right over the drums to enhance it. Just throw it right in there with it. And then that'll kind of give it some variation on that part. Just distinguish maybe this is the chorus. I'm just saying, vibe. But either way, I think the feel is there. It all started with Ample Sound guitar, right? Just coming up with some chords on a 335. Then we did a little bit of the White Falcon Ample Sound guitar over for the lead. Then we threw in some pocket drums, which I could put some saturation on that. Let me do that right now. Little color limiter on there, throw some saturation on it. It'll help the drums a little bit. Trillion on the bass, which is just a jazz muted bass. And then of course we're using Swam instruments for trumpet and the tenor sax. Collectively together, panned out different areas. my dog is getting into a bark war with another dog in the middle of it. But anyway, I think this is where we're going to end it. I've been on here quite a bit. Got to do some work now, the stuff that pays the bills, actually. And yeah, I appreciate you, each and every one of you for stopping in. DJ Emo, Bears DJ, Crazy Rabbit, Ollie Star, Alaskan Bulls. Trying to think who else I saw. Oh, Lifted Noise, of course, Raul. What's up? And Paul, who stopped by, Paul Latham. Appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you're having a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you guys on the next video.